Hey, this is the World Advice Channel 2. What I want to talk about today is the topic of how will the future be like. So for this video series, I'm going to discuss how will the future be like for a good scenario and a negative scenario. And for this video, I'm going to discuss the negative scenario, okay, if anything. So what I'm going to do for this video to go in further detail is not only explain the negative scenario, but explain it in a very detailed and specific way that's believable and realistic and not something far-fetched or something for crying out loud. Okay, so it's going to be something that not only is realistic but also explain a simple and straightforward way so you can understand it. Okay, so now that I mentioned that, let's get started. So when it comes to the topic of how will the future be like, the simple truth of the matter for the bad scenario of how the future is going to be like, if the bad things happen, is it's going to absolutely suck, and not even suck in a cool way like you see in like all those 1980s and 1990s post-apocalyptic movies. Oh my god, did they ever spoil us by making us think that it was going to be so cool and fascinating, the end of the world, if it were to happen. At least if it did happen, or at least be kind of cool and interesting. No, it would not be like that. And for this video, I'm going to explain how it would actually be like, as I was saying before, in a realistic way. And when it comes to how it'd be in a realistic way, it would just be a very sad, depressing, slow decline. And that's exactly what it would be like for that matter, okay? Because the truth of the matter is, when it comes to how the world would actually be like in an actual civilization decline based on the things we have now, pretty much it's just going to consist of a world that's more similar to Wall-E. And even Wall-E would look like a Disney version of like how this world would be like. Because the truth of the matter is, for this world, first and foremost, everyone is pretty much going to be antisocial, okay? And not just antisocial, but everyone's going to be in their house, okay? Because the way our society is going nowadays, with how we are getting along with each other, whether it comes down to things like race, gender, the different genders, how good they're getting along, to even just straight up, how good along people get along with each other in general, for that matter. Because, oh boys, a lot of people just say, I hate everyone. Like, all that type of stuff. There's a lot of people who are just, in one of those main ways, a lot of people are just not getting along. To sum it up, what my point is that people in general are not getting along. And I just feel like, you know, in general, when it comes to all of that stuff, it will just contribute to just having a world where we're going to have a huge portion of the population who just do not interact with each other at all. And just stay inside their house, just eat, drink, sleep, and not really interact with people at all, for that matter. Okay. And that's the truth of the matter. Because in the end of the day, from an instinctual survival perspective, why do I want to put my energy into talking to someone who might hurt me versus doing something that that I can keep myself from getting hurt by never having to worry about being around someone saying something nasty or mean to me or something like that. So why don't I just stay inside? Besides, it's not far-fetched to believe that in 10, 20 plus years the world will end up like that, because look at how many people are antisocial. You see comments on YouTube where people say, I don't have any friends, and that's anywhere from thousands to tens of thousands of thumbs up. There's a bunch of comments like that on YouTube, not even a few, a bunch. And it's already been proven through surveys and so on and so forth and studies, that there's a lot of people in this new generation who don't have any friends whatsoever. A lot of people are just keeping to themselves nowadays, and it's because, even though of course a lot of people just blame it down on lack of confidence and this and that, a lot of it's just down to the fact that it's just down to the fact that a lot of the rules of how to interact with people and just how to get along with people haven't been clearly defined, which is the reason why things are so bad as it is fucking now. It wasn't really well defined, and stuff, and it just kind of caused a lot of problems. A lot of people misinterpret people, a lot of bullshit happens, a lot of double standards, and just in general, to sum up what I'm trying to say in a simple, straightforward way, there weren't definitive rules taught to people so people could learn how to not just make friends, but how to keep their friends through proper interaction rules. Not to mention, we obviously have smartphones that obviously serve as a distraction as well. So it would be a very antisocial world, and not just a very antisocial world. it would also be a world full of where there's not really much need for humans to do anything, because pretty much AI is going to do everything for us at this point for this bad scenario, because the truth of the matter is it's accelerating quickly, and things that you wouldn't have imagined it would have been able to do even like 2 3 years ago, it's able to do now. It would be truly amazing what it can do. So there's not going to be a need for people to do things. So as a result of there not being a need for people to do things, a lot of people are going to be bored, and as a result have existential crises where they wonder like what's the point of their lives. Let alone the fact, the most important one of course of all, is that like there's not going to be a need for, of course, people to have a job for them to make money. So how are they going to make money? So the biggest issue, of course, is how they're going to make money. The government might offer to pay them this and that amount of money because they don't really need them anymore. But the government is not reliable for fucking anything, for that matter. So that is obviously going to cause a lot of problems. And as a result of causing a lot of problems, there's going to be a lot of issues in the world, a lot of drama, a lot of craziness, a lot of madness. It's gonna be a very depressing world to live in, because it's just gonna be a slow civilizational decline, let alone the fact that there's not gonna be much morals left in a world like this, with how much people are losing, how immoral people are becoming, especially with how much things like homosexuality and just straight up being gay and a lot of the things people are pushing nowadays through the media. People are just going to do whatever the fuck they think is going to make them feel pleasure, just to add insult to injury, and it's just going to be depressing. It's not going to be cool and fascinating like you might think it would be. It would just be a depressing, sad world where you could just see everything falling apart, and people are just going to be extremely depressed and nostalgic for how life was eh, decades ago. Just like how people in 2000 said life sucked ass back then. Now we look back at those days in the 2025 and say, oh my god, those days were so great. It's going to be the same thing. There's going to be the same issues. There's going to be mad issues because of the AI technology and the fact that it took away people's jobs, so people can't make money and stuff. To the fact that there's obviously going to be, you know, a lot more political corruption, because you can't really have people speak out against the government anymore because, of course, you know, um, it's not like people have the ability to do anything because they're not good at anything, because AI does everything for you. To the fact that a lot of the issues we have in the world, like global warming, environmental damage, slash running out of resources, all that type of shit is just going to magnify even worse because we're going to have more people, and people are consuming more things than they've ever done before. So it's just going to be complete madness. It's just going to be a slow, depressing decline. It's just going to be full of not just people not really interacting and just staying inside and all that type of shit, and being depressed as hell. Um, it's just going to consist of a world as well where it's just slowly declining as well politically throughout the world, like in an international sense, because of all the wars and chaos that's going to be created as a result of all the things going on. It's not a world you want to live in at all. It's just going to result in a complete civilization based collapse. So, the obvious question that comes up, of course, is what would happen if, or I should say, what can we do to prevent that from happening? Well, there's definitely a few things we need to do. Not all of them I can obviously cover for this video, but one of the first things we need to do as a society is that one of the things we're going to have to do is we're going to have to start learning to get along better again. Because the truth of the matter is, one of the reasons why people do not get along, whether it's based on gender or even just individual differences, let alone even racial differences, is that we don't understand each other. And we not only do we not understand each other, there haven't been rules really defined on like how to interact with people in a proper way, to knowing like, okay, this is going too far versus this other particular issue. Like mostly to sum up what I'm trying to say is that this is going too far, like do not say this, and so on and so forth. So that's one thing we're gonna have to do. The other thing we're gonna have to do is prevent AI technology from, of course, expanding. Okay, Because AI technology, there's no real need for it. Like, what are we competing against? Like, we're the only species on the planet as humans, whether we like each other or not, is not the issue here. The truth is, we don't have any competition. Like, what are we competing against? What, aliens from Alpha Centauri? So, in short, why do we need better technology to make the speed of production of things unnecessarily quick when we only compete against ourselves? So, there's no need for AI technology. It's just a way to speed run things because corporations are greedy. So, there's no need for an ad either because the work people do is good enough. Okay, so that's another thing to also mention. Second point. And thirdly, you know, lastly, we needed more political movements to speak out against all the issues the world has, like environmentalism and stuff, because I feel we definitely are on the verge of a societal collapse, let alone civilization collapse. So that's what we need to do. And that's all I have to say for this video. And that is all.